Every single one of us operates under a beautiful illusion. We plan our weeks, we look at our calendars, and we assume that the body we went to sleep with is the exact same body we will wake up with on tomorrow. But life can change in a span of a single heartbeat. For me, that sudden change was a stroke. In an instant, the foundational certainties of my life were stripped away. Now, if you look up strokes online or you talk to any doctors, or I'm sure you're like me, you have many people that wants to tell you what happens with the stroke. They always focus on the physical stuff. They talk about the weaknesses, the loss of motor skills, the terrifying disconnect between your brain and your limbs. But sitting here today, I want to talk to you about the silent, invisible war. The war that begins when you are attached to all the machines and doing testing like you were just a vegetable plant. When the phone calls to see how you are doing stop, and the people who came to see you left the room, and you, my friend, are all alone. When you are stripped of your independence, your mind becomes an incredibly dangerous neighborhood to walk through by yourself. In those long, agonizing hours in the hospital bed and later sitting home alone in the quiet of an empty room, the silence isn't peaceful. It's loud, and it's very loud. And in that isolation, it is terrifyingly easy to talk yourself out of your own worth. You look at your limitations, and a cruel whisper starts playing on the loop in your mind. Who is going to like this version of you? Who is going to want to be around you now? Who is going to love you now? How are you going to work? If you can't even do the simple things for you used to do, what value do you bring to the world? Those questions can be from having a stroke or just being alone, right? You literally start convincing yourself that you are a burden and that your chapter of making a difference is efficiently closed and effectively closed. But I'm talking directly into you today to tell you that those whispers are lies. Recovery is a mental game. It is a game of inventory that is terrifying and terrible, but it's a game about taking territory in your mind. And to win that game, I tried to anchor myself to a new way of thinking. I had to redefine how I moved through the world. I had to learn how to keep my pace up and moving again. I had did this awesome discovery with you in the past on our pace. And I'm sure some of you will probably go back to listen to it again. But when you are staring down the long road of recovery, the sheer distance between where you are and where you want to be can paralyze you. To survive this journey without losing your mind, I had to lean into 4 words that become my daily lifeline: purpose, abundance, curiosity, and excellence. And let's break down what that pace really means when you are fighting your way back from the valley. P is for purpose. It is the first letter of our word. And when a stroke or life changes hit you, it feels like your purpose has become stolen. But I had to realize that your purpose is not defined by your physical ability. Your purpose is tied to your identity. Even when I couldn't move the way I wanted to or talk the way I used to, my purpose still hadn't changed. God didn't cancel my assignment just because my body had a glitch. And boy, it's still glitching even today. If you are breathing, your purpose is still alive. You have to wake up every morning and say, I am still here for a reason. Now, it will be easy to keep silent. Believe you me, I kept silent probably the first week. But now I know you have to speak it out loud so you can hear it. The second letter is A for abundance. When you are sick or recovering, it is so easy to live in a mindset of lack. You constantly count what you lost. I can't do this anymore. I don't have that anymore. I don't live here anymore. I can't work. I don't have enough money. But a lack of mindset keeps you trapped in despair. I had to shift my eyes towards abundance. Abundance means looking at what you do have left and realizing it is more than enough to rebuild. It's looking at the grace, the love, and the life still flowing through you and saying, my cup is not empty. It's getting ready to overflow. It's getting ready to be full again. The third letter, C, is for curiosity. This one kind of saved my mental health. Instead of getting angry, in which the first day, oh my goodness, if you would have seen me, you would have been shocked that I was disgusted with me, disgusted with my body. But instead of getting angry, I decided that I wasn't going to be frustrated with my body wouldn't work. I chose to get curious. When a door closed or a limitation popped up, I started asking, okay, how can I navigate this differently? What is the situation trying to teach me? Or how can I grow from this? Curiosity takes the judgment and the anger out of recovery. It turns a frustrating obstacle into a puzzle you are trying to solve. It keeps your mind sharp, active, and moving forward. And let me tell you, not everything that's on the website is good for your reading when you're doing curiosity. E, as you all know, is for excellence. Now, bear with me on this because excellence doesn't mean perfection. When you are recovering from a stroke or you're recovering or doing anything in your life, your perfection standards will break your heart. As I have said many times, this is my burden to bear. I am always trying to be the best and I'm always trying to be perfect. But excellence, I've learned, simply means doing the absolute best you can with what you have in the moment. If all you can do today is take 3 steps, then take those 3 steps with excellence. If all you can do today is to stay positive for 5 minutes, do it with excellence. It's about giving God your absolute best effort, no matter how small that effort looks to the outside world or even to you. He said to do all we can do and stand. And that means, and it took me sitting back and thinking about it, that means he will perfect it, right? Now, I know some of you are listening to me right now and you haven't had a stroke. You might be thinking, that's a powerful story, but my body works just fine. But just for a second, because as I sit in this place, I can feel that someone listening to is trapped in something completely different, trapped in a whole different kind of a valley. The physical body might be intact, but your life is tearing at the seams. I am talking to the listener who is driving right now with tears in their eyes because of a bitter divorce. The papers are signed, the house is empty, and you're asking yourself the exact same questions I asked in the hospital. Who will ever love me now? Who will want this broken version of me? You are talking yourself out of your worth because a human contract came to an end. I am talking to the person that's struggling with the heavy, suffocating changes of addiction. You are sitting in the dark, wrestling with a substance, a habit, or a secret that feels bigger than you. You have tried to quit 100 times, and that voice in your head is mimicking the enemy saying, just give up. Go ahead, slide into the dark. You've messed up too many times for people to trust you. Or what Job's wife said to him, curse God and die. I am talking to those facing different terrifying health scares. Maybe it wasn't a stroke. Maybe it was a cancer diagnosis you just got yesterday. Maybe it's chronic pain that keeps you awake at night, or a phone call about your child's health that makes your heart stop. I am talking to anyone going through the silent trials of life, financial ruin, unemployment, or the deep arch ache of grief, of loving someone or losing someone that you love. Maybe even transition in your life right now. Your trial might look different than mine, but the mental game is exactly the same. The valley of despair looks identical, whether you are in a hospital ward, a family court, or a rehab center, or in the unemployment line. The trap of the valley is that it tries to convince you that your current location is your permanent destination. It tells you that because you are in the dust today, you will be in the dust forever. But thoughts are not facts, my friends. Feelings are not permanent realities. The valley is just a passage, it's a corridor, it is not a closet. Don't shut the door on your life. How do we climb out of a valley that is deep? We don't do it by our own human strength. We do it by tapping into a power that specializes in restoration. The scripture promises us that God will give us beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, and the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Think about ashes for a second. Ashes represent total destruction. The fire has done its worst. Like we've seen on TV about the fires in LA, nothing remained. Whether it's the ash of a stroke, the ash of a burned down marriage, or the ash of a shattered dream. From a human's perspective, ashes are worthless waste. They are just a reminder of what used to be and what we don't have anymore. But our Creator does not look at our ashes and see a tragedy. He looks at our ashes and sees raw material. God does not give us despair. He takes the very thing that the fire tried to destroy us with in our life. He mixes it with His grace and He turns it into something beautiful. I am sitting here as a living proof that that exchange does happen. A stroke tried to reduce my life to ashes. Your trial is trying to reduce your life to actions. But God makes those ashes, takes those ashes, and He breathes life into them and molds a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of you than ever existed before. To understand this, we have to understand who God actually is. He is actually our Father, but He is not our human father, parent. Humans get tired, they get frustrated, and sometimes they walk away. But your Heavenly Father never runs out of patience or power. He is your family, but he is not your human family. Human family dynamics can be complicated and conditional, but God's covenant with you is unconditional. When the room empties out, he stays. And of course, we know he is our provider, but he is not our bank. The bank operates on credit scores and strict mathematical rules. If you don't fit, they deny you. But God provides peace that surpasses understanding and strength. And when everything else fails, he states, he promises us, I will never leave you nor forsake you. This is an unshakable guarantee. And as we start to wrap up tonight, I want to leave you with a reality check. In this life, people are always going to talk. Someone is always watching you. Someone is always pointing a finger, judging your struggle, or counting you out. The world is full of spectators who love to comment on a fight that they aren't brave enough to step into themselves. But their opinions do not dictate your reality. You know exactly where you stand. You know your truth in health, in wealth, and in wisdom. And most importantly, you know the desires of your heart. God reads the unspoken languages in your soul, the unspoken longings of your mind. He knows your heart's desires because he planted them there before the trial ever hit you. And a divorce, an addiction, or a medical event cannot cancel out his divine blueprint for your life.